No better place to be than Anderson, South Carolina, home of the Anderson Trojans, as they look to face the steepest bit of competition that they have seen all season. And again, you may be wondering, well, they just played the number 17 team in the country in Wingate and beat them. Yes, phenomenal. But now they're up against, again, one of the better teams in the nation, number 5, Limestone University. A quick trip down I-85 and into Gaffney, South Carolina, you find one of the best teams in men's soccer. And that is the challenge that Anderson faces today. But luckily, they've got a big home crowd, some cold weather to their advantage, as well as the home field. So it's going to be a great day of men's soccer, a great night of men's soccer, and I know I'm excited too. My partner, Matson Montilla, beside me. My name's Colin Calvert here in the booth, as these two South Atlantic Conference teams just about to take the opening touch here at Anderson University. Matson, going to this game, there's a lot of high expectations, especially coming off such a miraculous win like we saw against Wingate, the number 17 team in the country. I like to re-emphasize that because, again, Anderson had high expectations going in, but they were picked pretty low in the preseason poll at number 7 overall, while Wingate, Limestone looking to take those top 2 positions, and Anderson now facing them back-to-back. Pretty interesting how the schedule aligns, and, again, the type of, obstacles that Anderson has gone over to get to the point in which they are, and that is SAC championship contenders.
Well, what I will say about that is this 3-game stretch, right? They already completed the first league, beating Wingate. It's going to be showing whether or not they're a legit team or not. Currently, they set at 4-4-1. They just beat number 17 Wingate. They're playing number 5 Limestone, and then on this Saturday, they're playing Coker University, who's number 8 in the country. So, depending how things shake out, this is a true test to see how good of a team they really are. And this is the second step there. Obviously, a tough team to play against. The key player for Limestone is definitely going to be their goaltender, Bertelson, who is the best goaltender in the SAC. He's a phenomenal player. You know how good he is. His save percentage is 88%. He allows barely half a goal to go in. It's like
3-1.
I had to double check because I was like, "There's no way." It's the truth. 0.31 goals per game. That's not normal.
Now, one stat that I'm going to look at before we go right into the action, going back to the guy in between the post, which is Bertelson for Limestone. He's only allowed 3 total goals in the 10 games that they've played. And that would be one in the most recent game, which was their second draw of the year against Francis Marion. They ended up 1-1 on that game. And then against Young Garrison, their very first game, which was a 2-2 draw. And so this guy's very good. Again, he has shut out every single one of the SAC opponents that they've faced over the course of the season. And remember, they made it all the way to the Elite 8 last season in the NCAAs. I mean, this is a team that is tried and true in their beliefs, in their system, and their head coach in the likes of Ali Al-Ghashmeh. He's done a wonderful job with this team.
He has, and it's not only is it impressive that they made it to the Elite 8 last season, it's impressive because they made it to the Elite 8 last season with him as his first year on Limestone's coaching staff as head coach. His first year, they went to Elite 8. I can only imagine what they're going to do this second year. What I will say, though, in favor of Anderson is when you look at the trend that Limestone's taking, not to say it's anything that I'm, like, whoa, we have a chance, but there's 2 games ago, they beat Emory and Henry 1-0, and then last game, they tied 1-1 with Francis Marion. So if that holds up, they're starting to lose that pull of being absolutely dominant, because you go back to 3 games ago, Carson Newman, they won by 5 goals. Newberry, 8. Catawba, 7. So it could work out positively for Anderson if this trend continues for Limestone.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Emory and Henry game in which they almost lost. It was a 1-0 game. You look back at Anderson whenever they faced Emory and Henry early on in the season. It was one of the first conference matchups they went up against. It was a 6-0 victory. So again, you can compare it, but again, different points of the season. Emory and Henry, of course, has improved as a team since they entered the SAC just a few years back. And I will say, these 2 teams are ahead for quite the time, and we have Franco Antonioli in the post for Anderson. Right now, sits at 5th in the SAC in saves. He's got a total of 30 so far on the season. Just 12 goals against as well. Very, very good playing there from the Argentina native, the redshirt junior in red for the Trojans. Already some good back-and-forth ball. We just saw that one deep into Anderson territory, and there are two players you really want to look out for, and that is number 9 in the blue and white, as well as number 16 in the blue and white for Limestone. Both of them combining for a total of 10 goals on the season. Mark Radoki, so far, in just the 9 games he's played, he's got 6 goals, 2 assists to his name. Look for him to not only just distribute, but also be working towards the goal as well. And Claudel Nagubo, that guy is insane. Again, he was named last season to the all-region first team in the Southeast. And not only that, but there were 6 total Saints that were named to that list, which is very impressive. Again, they ended up winning 16 total games because they went so far into all the different championships and tournaments that they were present in.
Yeah, they were dominant. They won the SAC championship tournament. They went to the Elite Eight. They had a lot of success. But I want to bring up Raduke again because you mentioned 6 goals leading the team. He's 3rd in the SAC with 6 goals, right? Like, he's a phenomenal player. And another guy to keep an eye on, like you mentioned, is Claudia Nubukte, because he has 4 goals and 5 assists. So not only is he scoring the goals, but he's leading the team in points, meaning he's everywhere offensively, contributing, finding the openings, and allowing this team to get offense going.
Anderson's going to really have to heavily rely on the likes of their defense, especially their midfield. They've had a really good selection of midfielders. I mean, we've seen the grad student Emmanuel Arco, who came in all the way from Barcelona. The guy has insane footwork, insane speed, and he's done a very good job. Hasn't been as productive on the offensive side as I'm sure he would, but he's very aggressive on the defense. And just an overall very aggressive player. We saw that from the get-go against Anderson's very first opponent in his first ever appearance in the black and gold. And just really trying to get the offense working has been Anderson's it's just been Anderson's bane so far. It's been their trouble over the entirety of the season. Yes, the Achilles heel. It's a perfect way to say it. They have the defense pretty spot on so far. There have been no true blowouts, I guess you would call them, over the course of the season. Yeah, but I think really offensively, they just need to get more points on the board. We saw against North Georgia, they had plenty of time. Granted, that wasn't a conference matchup, but we did see plenty of opportunities to score, and just none could be capitalized on. And then against Wingate, I mean, again, that was when you finally saw the offense really take off. And I know soccer's not a very high-scoring game. We all know that. But again, when you have opportunities, you have to be able to capitalize them, especially in a game where you don't get that many opportunities.
Exactly, and it's also about the eye test, right? Are they pushing the pace? Are they trying to dominate the offensive zone? And those are questions that are still out for this Anderson men's team. And I think the perfect example of how their offense is sputtering before that Wingate game was they lost 3 straight games. And they lost those games because against Lenore Rhine, they scored 1 goal and lost 2-1. They lost to Catawba 1-0. And then they lost to North Georgia. You mentioned out of conference, but still a game they should win if they're really trying to make some moves this season. They lost that 2-1 at home, right? So it seems like you're past that 3-game skid, but the name of the game is, can they do anything offensively? And if they can do it against Limestone, I think it's pretty safe to say they can do it against pretty much anybody. So we'll see. It's a big game.
Now, we saw a lot of the offense be derived through the midfield and the defense. Funny enough, I mean, we saw Mark Villa. We saw him get the game-winning goal against Wingate. He also scored against Emory and Henry. So it wasn't his second time. It wasn't his first time at a goal, seeing the back of the nylon. But again, they're just gonna have to work with all sides of the game. Offense has to correlate with defense. The midfield has to be everywhere. As we see Juan Pablo Lepervanche, one of the only freshmen that really started the majority of this season. We've seen a few more freshmen really enter into the game and be game-changing players, but more to that later as we go to the first free kick of the night. Already, Bertelsen to get his first test of the night. The Trojans with a chance.
You can see Anderson stacking the front of the box. Probably going to try and corner in there.
Lepervanche lets it fly towards the far side post and easily corralled in by Bertelsen, the 6'2" freshman out of Denmark. Again, as a freshman coming in here with such high expectations, he has delivered. And if you look on the roster for the likes of Limestone, they have 9 goalies on their team compared to Anderson's just 3. Granted, they do have a JV team.
I was going to say, don't let it blow your mind too much.
Yeah, don't let it blow your mind too much. But still, having that amount of goalies still and beating out all 9 of them, especially at such a well-distinguished program like Limestone is, very impressive.
It is. It is impressive nonetheless. You can't discredit him. Now it makes you wonder, where would those goalies be if they weren't at Limestone? Would they be starting elsewhere?
True
And
that.
who you don't know. You really don't know. But when you have a guy that dominant, of course he's going to get the nod.
Hugo Ween to take the first set piece for the Saints. They're from the far left corner on Anderson's side. This one coming near side, easily batted away by Eloy Alamari, the German native, who has battled his way through a course of injuries so far through his career, but thankfully he's been able to play in just about every game this season, and the 6'5" grad student is a dominant force. And I will say one thing, I pointed out the height. That is one thing Anderson has above most other teams, which is height, especially from the forward position.
And that's what you need, especially when it comes to the offense attack. Like you said, when you have those corner kicks coming in, if you have the height, it allows you to, I feel like it's pretty simple, but if you're taller than everybody and you can jump the same vertical as pretty much anyone else can, because everyone in soccer is just as athletic as one another, uber athletic, you have a higher chance of reaching the ball, allowing more goals to be scored, or just more action to take place in front of the net.
And that was one thing that Coach Michael Zion, who's, by the way, in his 10th season with the Trojans so far, started off as an assistant and eventually got himself the starting nod, I guess you could say, to be the big man overall. He emphasized the importance of those set pieces. Again, Anderson was taking upwards to 5 to 6 corner kicks a game at the beginning of the season, and now that, of course, has dwindled down just a bit, but they're still getting those really big opportunities, and you need to capitalize on them. They have a lot of freshmen, they have a lot of sophomores and juniors who can really do very well from a set-piece perspective, and we mentioned the height, Mattson. The height is key, my friend, especially whenever you have such opportunities. You want to be able to capitalize using that advantage.
Definitely. I think the biggest part you mentioned was they're young, right? They have talented freshmen, but they're young. Set pieces are honestly the best way to get those players involved because those are things you can practice over time, and the more repetition, the more times you do it, the higher chance of success. When you're just going out there, and I like to say freestyling, just kind of playing around, seeing what the defense does, that takes more experience to see, okay, I've seen this before. When you're a freshman, it's a little bit harder to understand it, especially when you get to the college level. So having those set pieces and really working on them well can allow this team to really excel.
Anderson back in the possession, Franco Antonioli, who, by the way, he played for the former youth club that Lionel Messi played for back in Argentina.
Wow.
Duels Old Boys. Fun
time.
fact. And, of course, this midfield led by the likes of Lucas Goldberg. We've seen a lot of him. It was a scary sight against North Georgia. The junior, he went down holding his knee. You see he's got a knee brace out there as well. A lot of us thought it was a torn ACL. I was sitting there doing the substitutions because, I need a day off every once in a while too.
Rest the voice?
Rest the voice, right? And so Lucas Goldberg came down right in front of me, and I was like, oh, my gosh, is this guy okay? Holding his knee, able to walk off, thankfully, on his own power, and he's back in action here against one of the best teams in the nation. So they'll need him especially. He's a very vocal leader out there on the pitch, and overall a great guy and a great soccer player. Super quick, super agile, but we see that from a lot of guys on this Anderson team. On the way, I spoke of freshmen that have really been making an impact, and Felipe Gardola, he's done a really good job, and he distributes inside the box towards Jaramillo. Going to get another chance at it. He's toppled to the ground, and we see, nonetheless, the man himself, Claude Nagubu, with a nice pass towards Taru. Weaving through traffic, trying to find an open lane. He sees that on the near sideline. Looking back towards the interior, denied by Willie Thompson. Thompson, the sophomore, done a phenomenal job. Again, he brings a lot of height to the spectrum as well, 6'4".
I really like the pace that Limestone was playing with just now in that possession. I feel like the first 10 minutes or so of this match was really a feeling out, right? Seeing how does each team respond to certain things. It was a little bit slower. And right there, Limestone saw we just got the turnover essentially. We can try to push the pace. And it worked to their advantage. They're obviously in the offensive zone, holding possession. But I think the pace and the speed of the game is going to be really game-changing for Limestone. That's really helped them throughout this season.
Deep into Anderson territory, a scary sight. Nagubo denied access. The Trojans just trying to escape a disastrous possibility, but Diego Jaramillo outpaced. And we all know, if you know, I believe that was actually Mark Villa, my apologies, or Ivan Cardona. So my apologies on the misname, but still outpaced there on the front. Thought he had a bit of green turf ahead of him to work with. Instead, he saw only blue and white and a ball snatched from his grasp. Now the Trojans with a free kick opportunity from around the Anderson 20-yard line. By the way, Anderson to be playing Emory and Henry this upcoming Saturday in a big-time U.S. football, I guess American football match. Since a lot of our viewers here are foreigners, we're very glad to have you here watching us on Flow Sports Live, part of the Anderson Sports Network. As we see Diego Jaramillo getting busy. Off to Alamari. Alamari sees the near side. Lepervanche, the kick up. Jaramillo has a chance. And nothing there. No easy access will be granted by this Limestone defense.
I was going to say, Limestone was really stacking the box. They know that as soon as Anderson has something going offensively, they're going to drop back, obviously, their defenders and some of their midfielders. And they had, I counted, five blue shirts compared to 2 for Anderson.
Nagubo off to the likes of Ween. Back to him. Slow pace of play here from Limestone. Looking to find the open alley. Can't instead only find the tall presence of Alamani.
Well, when you're the number 5 team in the country, you want to not make mistakes. That's how you succeed. That's why you're number 5. You don't make turnovers. You don't force problems upon yourself. I think that's why Limestone's taking that slower approach.
Yeah, that's one thing that Anderson has not done. They're not very slow. They love to take the faster approach, especially on the offensive. Is this one flying by Franco Antonioli with a quick put down. And again, I like what you said there, Mattson. They take it slow because that's how you don't make mistakes. They like to really just have everything together from a game plan perspective. So they come in and they are doing the cool, crisp, and smooth things on all fronts. And offensively, they had a lot of good looks. Anderson at some points had them under wraps, but then again, they managed to escape with the ball, find more opportunities, and that's how you score. Jaramillo in a foot race, this time barely outpaced and kicked out of play. This one will be Anderson ball, well within Limestone territory. Geraldo on the throw-in from this near right side. The freshman to senior action, finding Jaramillo, instantly ball taken away. Nagubo finding the far side, and Limestone offense back on the attack.
I'm surprised by that throw-in by Anderson that they didn't have more offensive players towards the box, right? It seems like Anderson's a little afraid of Limestone's capability of attacking out fast if they force a turnover. So it's going to be an interesting match for Anderson, right? They know, I don't want to say they're outmatched, but they know this is a worthy opponent, and they might not be able to take as many chances as they're used to. So I'm intrigued to see as the game goes on how they attack offensively, because at the end of the day, they don't want to get burnt and give up something to a very fast and smart Limestone team.
Yeah, again, that's what we saw a lot of last season from Anderson. Last time these two teams played, it was you know how I mentioned blowouts and how no teams really had a blowout happen to them? Well, that's what happened against Anderson last season. It was a 6-0 victory for the Saints at Limestone against the Trojans. And Anderson, I know Michael Zion sitting there praying that does not happen. But I know he believes full and well in the capabilities of his guys. This one barely scraping past the hands of Antonioli. Limestone draws first blood here at Anderson.
Nice point, Colin. Just messing with you. But that was a great attack by Limestone. And that's one of those things where, yes, you're outside the box, you're far outside the box, but sometimes you got to test out the goalie, right? You know you have capable scorers out there. You know you're going to have more possession. So it's not that they're wasting one. It's just seeing, let's test them out. Let's see if we can. And when you kick it far post, it can really catch the goalkeeper off guard, especially when there's players between the ball coming at them. And that allowed for that goal to sneak by the outreached hands of Franco and Tony Lilly.
Marcelo Lopez grabbing his first goal of the season. Just on his 5th shot as well. The accuracy stat going to be bumped up just a bit there for him. very well placed, and even out of the reach of 6'4" Antonioli. You know, we mentioned the height there on the defense and on the offense, but man, in goal too, you want to have a guy that's got some length. Just this time, a little scrape to the right, then a shot left, beautifully placed by Limestone.
That's the thing. Antonioli is obviously a great goalkeeper, right? He allows barely over 1 goal per game, and he's done amazing these past 4 matches. The one thing I will say when it comes to the ability of him is, you mentioned it, if you get him moving one side, for any goalkeeper, if they move one side and they have to dive back to the other, that ball is coming at you fast. It's hard to defend it, and that's what happened. Limestone was able to control where the goalkeeper was going.
Yeah, control will be a big factor in this game today, especially possession time-wise. We know Limestone has dominated the possession time game in every single one of their matchups, and we've seen that to be the reason for the record they hoist right now. Undefeated so far. The only thing close to a loss they've had have been those 2 draws that they've had. Nonetheless, still very dominant performances either way.
Now, after giving up that goal for Anderson, I'm really intrigued to see how Coach Zion allows his team to operate. I mentioned it before. Anderson was not attacking heavily offensively, right? They always had a few guys back. Now you're 15 minutes in the game. You give up a goal, right? And it's a tale of two things. Do we still play defensively, or does Anderson realize, okay, you know what? We got to just bring the attack, right? We can't stop them defensively, so let's see if we can just outscore them now.
Eloy Alamati tossed to the floor. Call was made. Nonetheless, it will go Limestone's way, as I don't believe there was a whistle blown on the possible attack. Either way, Limestone back on the offensive. The Gobu leading the way here on this near side. Alamati, his defender. Now, you mentioned, Mattson, the all-out attack that Anderson really needs to go for, and we mentioned how it was so put through the midfield. That's where the attack came, especially against Wingate, and we saw there in the 18th minute of the game against Wingate was when the Bulldogs, they went and struck first, and that one was about or so 8 minutes later was Ivan Cardona, came out of just nowhere. You'll see him number 20 in the black and white. And then Mark Vila, who came all the way from Evansville, the D1, the University of Evansville, D1 college, by the way. So great D1 talent here on this Trojan team. Came out of nowhere and found himself with an assist from Ivan Cardona. So he got himself a goal and an assist. And ended up finishing out the Bulldogs there with just a few minutes remaining, too, in the game. So, again, this midfield and defense need to also cooperate, and the offense finally just needs to find their stride. You can't be relying solely on your defense and your midfield to be scoring the goals for you whenever your entire job is to be out there scoring.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough rope to – yeah, I guess a tough rope to walk, because when you think about it, the reason why Anderson is getting all that scoring is because of that defensive mindset. They don't want to stack it. But I agree with what you were saying, Colin. If you're going to have players out there that are goal scorers, you might as well allow for the offense to operate the way it's supposed to. And sure, some of the guys out there for Anderson might be a little bit younger, but they're all proven. So they're either upperclassmen that have experience, or the younger guys that have proven that they can have success and they're smart and they're capable of playing the right way. And if Anderson wants to have success this year, if they want to make a run in the SAC tournament or get to the big dance after the SAC tournament, you're gonna have to rely on players playing their roles and playing them effectively. You can't go out there and expect to win all the games in the world by having a defensive mindset, because at the end of the day, you can park the bus all you want. Goals are gonna get by you.
Yeah, right now for the Trojans, Diego Jaramillo leads the way with 5 goals to his name there for the Trojans. He's also 5th in the SAC in goals.
Well, he has gone pretty dormant since then. He had that I'm blanking on what it's called. He scored 3 goals. Hat trick. Yes. I was thinking brace, but that's 2. He had a hat trick, and since that hat trick, it's been several games since he's even scored a goal.
Yeah, again, that hat trick was against Monteval the 18th of November. Here's an open shot. This one going far overhead, by the likes of Lepervanche. We see a downed Limestone player right inside the box, too. Thankfully for Anderson, there was no call made, and that will result in just a goal kick. Great opportunity, nonetheless. A lot of communication from both sides. Just waiting for the whistle.
And for Anderson, they've had 4 shots, 1 on net, but 4 shots. Not a horrible way to start things off, but obviously, if you only have 1 on target, they're not the most well-advised shots. And I think that plays a lot in their inability to have players on the offensive zone. Great move by Limestone.
Ankle's broken, ball up in the air, loose for anybody. Limestone decides to take advantage. This one right through the field goal post. Going back to that offensive possession, we did see Lepervanche rush that shot. And I think that's just the freshman in him. You know, you're a freshman. You want to keep stacking on the goals. You're second on your team in goals with 4 so far. And again, it's just a freshman thing to do. Just rush the shot. You got to slow it down, know that you have no one really around you, and take the shot. And in that case, now we've seen 2 missed shots from both sides, exchanging those. And a corner kick coming way of Limestone. This one punched right back in play. This one sent to a host of Saints and Trojans. And will find its way into Anderson hands. Antonioli trying to pick up the pace. As he'll scan the lay of the land. Look near side towards Willie Thompson, the sophomore, out of Spain. Well received, but instead out of play there by Limestone.
Limestone's operation of the 10 on the field, obviously they have 1 in net, so they have 10 players on the field. They're very fluid when they play, and I think that works well for them. Something that Anderson can learn from, right? Limestone, when Anderson has possession, you know, on Limestone's side of the 50, Anderson isn't able to get much going because there's enough defenders by Limestone. And then when it flips, it's very fluid, so there's a ample amount of goal scorers offensively for Limestone.
Limestone trying to get the goal scorers going here. 1-0. Limestone ahead. 2 defenders crashing down. Here's the escape. Towards the inside of the box, the quick flip, the header, and easily corralled by Antonioli.
That was nice. I thought they were trying to get that over to Torre for Limestone. Not enough juice because he was wide open far post if the ball was able to get worked down to him.
A boot from Antonioli trying to get his offense in a proper scoring position. But I must say, Ngobu with a beautiful flick towards the interior of the box. I mean, that's textbook.
It is.
If you want to get your guys in scoring position.
It is textbook, and that's what you expect out of the grad senior, who's had, again, he's the best player on Limestone, especially when it comes to passing. He has 4 assists, leads the team, 5 assists, leads the team 4 goals, 13 total points. And when you're a grad senior and you've been here for 5 years, you know what it takes to be successful, even at the little things.
Now, funny enough, knowing a bit about the SAC, having commentated a bit about the SAC, every time I hear about Limestone soccer, I'm hearing about a lot of these guys out of France. And again, Ngobu, one of those guys, and they say, oh man, they've got these really dangerous French players on their team. They're just so dominating. And, you know, Ngobu is the centerpiece of that commotion, of that conversation. And it is definitely shown so far throughout this game.
Definitely. And you mentioned France. And if you look at Limestone's roster and you count everyone out there, everyone's from another country except for 3 players. And what it's showing is Limestone is finding the best of the best, right? If they're good and they're from the United States, if they're from South Carolina, we want you, right? That's what Limestone's saying. Mm-hmm. If you're from France, if you're from Spain, you're good, we want you. And I think that's a huge credit to their head coach, who's only in his second year and has already had ample success his first year, and he's having somehow more success his second year. They're undefeated. And it's showing that they built this program that brings in winners.
Bringing in winners is definitely ideal. And again, I do like the strategy of finding the best of the best from all over the world as well. We see players from France, Denmark, Germany as well. We see some from South Carolina, South Kakalaki.
That's what I'm saying. They got 2 from South Carolina, 1 from North Carolina, and then the rest is you pick a country.
You pick a country. We see some from Japan as well as all of South America. So a lot of representation here on this Limestone team. And the same for Anderson. A lot more local guys, but at the same time, you do see your fair share of guys from South America as well as a few from Europe as well.
Yeah, which is definitely something you expect. Soccer is a global game, and as I said, if you want the best talent, you should cast a wide net. There can be talented kids from anywhere in the world, and that's what Limestone did, and that's what makes them so effective, and that's what Anderson's starting to do, and I anticipate more teams doing it, because if you can find the best of the best, bring them in. Anderson controlling the ball here. They really haven't been able to get anything going offensively except for that one set play just because it was a corner kick. Other than that, it's been a lot of, hey, maybe this so-and-so can do a one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
But it's never been a movement of trying to get something going.
We saw, like you said, a few opportunities here and there, but nothing that's caught the eye, nothing that would really get you standing up and sweating like, oh, a goal's about to come my way. Nothing really that's making you feel that way. More of a, oh, Anderson going to try again and then fails to deliver. And that's the goal for Michael Zion, is to not fail to deliver and hoping to deliver a possible win here today. And the upset would be incredible.
It would be. And I will say they need to play more fluid, right? It reminds me of the way I played FIFA as a kid. I would pick the best player on the game, and I would just try and dribble him through 11 or 10 defenders and pass the goalie. And it would never work, except for every now and then. But long story short, it's not effective. I didn't win any games that way. Anderson needs to realize that and just play fluid. And I really, really think that comes down to Coach Michael Zion saying, you know what, I trust my team. They can get back defensively if needed.
Yeah, he came in here with multiple different strategies today. Him and I were joking around, and he mentioned how the way they're going to win is by sneaking an extra player onto the field. And him and I sat laughing about that joke. And, really funny guy, great down-to-earth coach he is, and very easy to get along with, and really great to his players, too. I mean, just a stand-up coach. And, offensively, he was thinking about putting in multiple different formations to just see at first how Limestone adjusts and see from there if they want to switch out multiple players, because he says it's not a personnel thing. He thinks that the personnel he has on the field are guys that can go and win games. And I believe, along with you, believe that is 100% true. I mean, you have very talented, very speedy guys, very tall guys that know soccer well. And we'll see a chance at those guys looking to capitalize on another big opportunity here on this set piece. Free kick going Anderson's way. Here in the top of the 18th minute. Here's the shot. This one, a diving stop by Limestone, but nonetheless another chance for Anderson from the corner. Lepervanche, again, he's been very crucial in these set pieces. We've seen the freshman take multiple today. Here for yet another corner kick. Anderson's third of the night. The kick, looking towards the near post. Easily headed out by Limestone. This one demolished off the head of yet another Saint, gifting the Trojans with another corner.
Great defensive effort, though, by FloCollege, who was the one that headed it out off the initial corner kick. It was coming right at him, but right behind him was a Anderson attacker. So if he didn't have that vertical, we could be looking at a 1-1 game. And here's the corner kick.
Liberanche yet again. Tossing this one far post line, right out of reach. Saw a whistle blown, and it's going Limestone's way, ladies and gentlemen. Close to closing out this first period of play so far. Both goalies getting some good action already. We see Franco Antonioli leading the way with 3 saves today.
And before those 2 corner kicks occurred, what led to it, it was a nice shot that was well defended off that set piece by Bertelston. Diving effort, and that's hard to do because it's low. You have 10 people in front of you, and you have to track the ball. Not only that, you have to move on the ground. You have to lunge after it, and that one play shows you why he's such a good goalkeeper.
You mentioned fluidity, and I was going to make a point that Limestone moves with such fluidity, which they do. At times, just a quick error on the communication side of things. But Limestone, either way, finds it back on their footing, and their passes. It's a one-look, one-touch, get it to the guy type pass. And it works. It works so fast. It works so well. And as I emphasized earlier, smooth.
It makes the defensive team, Anderson, have to stand their toes and also not be able to have a moment to really think, to rest. Not to sit there and be like, oh, I'm tired, but to more so evaluate what's next.
Great slide by Alamati, regaining possession for the Trojans. Topple this one up, and on the way, Limestone. Alamati yet again. I mean, that slider is phenomenal. Jaramillo, the only Trojan around, the rest surrounded by Saints. And I must say, the Saints have come marching in looking for a win today. So right now the score 1-0 if you're just now joining us here in the bottom of the 15th minute, looking to close out the first period of play here at Anderson University. My name is Colin Calvert, Matt Simontia beside me. And again, big thank you to our production crew who do such a good job at putting on performances like this. And a great job to all these players out here, these coaches, for putting together these big events for our entertainment's sake.
Definitely, and also doing it in the cold.
Yes, the freezing. By the way, where did this cold come from? That is my biggest question. Now, we do see a few substitutions here for the Trojans. Lucas Bos, the Netherlands native, standing at 6'5". He's a dominant force. Really could be a defensive end on any NFL team right now. As well as Pablo Sanz, the midfield graduate student out of Point University. We've seen him here with the Trojans for multiple years. He's been a great key piece to the midfield. We'll see if he can make some production happen today. On the loose, this one flying by the right side of the net. Antonioli, hands up at the defense, wondering, guys, why are we letting this guy just run straight through us? Put some feet on somebody. Maybe put a shoulder on somebody. Not too hard, though. Not too aggressive. Don't want any yellow cards. And come on, do something. Match up with your guy.
It's a good point. It's a good point to be made by the goalkeeper in that area. And he's probably asking that question because they have, 5 to 6 defenders back every time because they're playing defensive heavy right now with these sets. And if that's the case, there shouldn't be a one-man band getting by you.
Pablo Sanz trying to flick that one back to Lucas Bos. Unsuccessful. Gives it right over to a troop of multiple Saints as they look to move downfield.
Nothing's better than having to be quiet and just hearing the communication that both teams are doing, calling out what's happening and where to go. And that's why teams like Limestone are so successful.
The pop up, the flick in, and this one trying to escape, but it does. That time Willie Thompson again making a possible goal-saving play. The quick throw-in from the Saints. They're looking to get right back to the action. The crossfield pass. Trojans trying to bite on it. Working through 2 defenders. On the far side, trying to squeeze down the line, easily snatched away and cleared downfield. Wonderful defensive effort by the Trojans. Unfortunately, no one down there to recover. Lucas Bos, I believe, was the target that was intended.
So right now, Limestone's at 8 shots, and they average 16 shots per game. And so what that means is they get their opportunities. Anderson allows 13, which is still a lot of shots allowed, meaning Limestone's going to get those opportunities pretty, not easily, but they should meet their mark of 16. And the more you shoot, the more likely you are to score.
Limestone trying to press their way through. A lot of heavy defensive pressure nonetheless. Anderson's been doing a very good job at reading the feet of these guys, knowing where the ball is going to go next. We've seen a lot of good footwork there from Eloy Alamati, who's been playing some really good defense as a forward, as well as Pablo Sanz, who's come in and played very good defensively off the get-go.
And Limestone keeps trying to work at that right side of the field.
Quick shot going left side. 1-0 remains the score. Antonioli with a sigh of relief, trying to go into the half with the same score. Closing in on that 10-minute mark here at Sparrow Financial Field. Deep shot looking for Lucas Boss. Off the header, Lucas Goldberg now with a chance on the far sideline. The speedy junior lets this one fly right out of play, and believe it was touched by him, so that will be a goal kick going way of the Saints.
I'll tell you one thing, he doesn't want to believe it. He was running with the ball in his hands, saying something, not bad, but speaking to the refs. It was more like, come on, wrong call. Either way, Limestone gets possession.
Yeah, I'm still wondering really where this cold weather came from. Back to that subject, it was very hot a few days ago.
It was.
And now it's sitting at a crisp, 54 degrees maybe? And for a lot of these northerners that may be listening, or northern Europeans that may be listening, it's probably not as cold as it is there. But for us, we're sitting here bundled up right now.
It is cold. Well, you're wearing shorts. I want to say we're bundled up, but
I just left football practice, and I didn't really think to dress all accordingly for this, and I didn't think that the weather was going to be this cold, but boy was I wrong.
You were wrong, and I'm glad you mentioned the cold weather, because that means the ball is going to be cold, and that's hard to kick, right?
Yes.
And it's not going to hurt your foot, but if you, like anything, if you play a sport in the cold, if you hit it the wrong way, it's gonna hurt, and it's not going to travel as far either. You're not going to have as much power on it.
This ball traveling perfectly nonetheless. Headed away. And Limestone back in possession, quick to the punch. Well defended by the Trojans. Brought down. Lucas Boss in possession. Quickly crowded by a multitude of Saints.
They're active. They are everywhere.
Lucas Boss and Ngobu going at it. Lepervanche turning things around. Between defenders, finds Boss.
Foot race.
Gariolo in the foot race, and ball brought right back into Limestone land. And the Trojans looking for something.
And tackle just now is Hugo Vane. And Hugo Vane, when I see him play for this Limestone team, he is everywhere. Hugo Vane. He is playing offense. He's playing defense. And he has 3 goals on the year. And it shows you that, yes, he's a midfielder, but he's capable of coming up and scoring. And it really seems like, at least on the left side, Limestone wants to try and get the ball to him. They see something there with him.
Yeah, he's definitely been a centralized target today for the offense. And him, the Gobu as well. Both very talented offensive players, as we see a multitude of on this Limestone team. Antonioli, the quick pickup. Slowly approaching that 5-minute mark. Which eventually will turn into the 1-minute mark.
And then at halftime.
And then halftime.
And then the second half. and then
the end of the game.
Yeah.
Crazy how that works.
It is crazy.
Time is a crazy concept.
So earlier, I saw Colin trying to use the binoculars, and he couldn't do it. And for those who are watching the 5 p.m. game for the women's team, I was having trouble too. Right?
They're blurry.
I don't know how to use them. I was saying the only time I used binoculars was my grandmother when I was a kid. Go bird watching.
You seem like the bird watching type, Matson.
Well,
That's a compliment.
But when you're with your grandmother, you do what she says. But now, I don't know. I need her now. She needs to be in this booth because I certainly cannot use these binoculars.
Yeah, I must say they're either blurry or I'm just dumb and not using them right.
You're not using. I don't think we're using them
I don't
right.
think we are.
You gotta twist it, I think.
This one can go up to 50 times the normal human vision. That's insanity to me. Ah, science. And soccer. Science and soccer combined. Closing in on the 5-minute mark here. 6:40 left to go in the first period of play. As Matson tries yet again to use the binoculars.
It would help the viewers.
It definitely would.
Now we got production help in the
Now we have
booth.
production help here. Oh, technical difficulties, people. Technical difficulties. And by the way, this is our Breast Cancer Awareness Day. So prayers and thoughts to all those who have gone through such a awful thing such as breast cancer. And it's a continuous fight for all of those that suffer through it. And we look to do whatever we can to either raise money, help those, serve those that may struggle with such things. So our prayers and thoughts out to those that do suffer from breast cancer. We are praying for you, and your thoughts and struggles are here with us.
100%. I thought a really cool thing that Anderson did in the women's game was they had a pink out, so all the players through their shin guards, their socks are pink, just to promote that awareness.
Yeah, the Anderson football game will also be a breast cancer awareness game as ball floating deep in the Anderson territory. We do see the likes of Geraldo down on the pitch. He's quick to get up back to the action. But this Anderson football game will be a pink out as well. The Trojan players will be wearing all pink tape for anything taping wise. So you might see some ankles tape pink, some wrist tape pink. I don't know what else you can really tape besides your ankles and your knees.
No,
That's about it.
I'm not sure. You could always buy pink gloves.
And K-tape as well, pink K-tape.
Is there what's the legal rule when it comes to cleats? You have to wear a certain color?
I don't believe so. I believe you could wear pink cleats as long as they're Nike cleats for the Trojans, because we're very thankful to Nike for all that they have done, providing us with some great gear, very high quality gear. I'm actually wearing some of that gear right now. It's actually a soccer pullover too. So
I like it. I like it. It's nice.
Team. So past that 5-minute mark, Limestone trying to get one more on the board here with an attack around the 30-yard line for the Trojans. Quick back and forth flick. This one trying to scrape the top of the box. Eventually brought in by the likes of the Trojans as they're quick to flick this one downfield. Lucas Boss. And a ball flying into the bleachers of the visitor stand. We see a few visitors there on that far side. Quite the crowd we have tonight. Very quiet crowd, nonetheless.
It's because it's cold out, Colin.
It is.
Okay, it's because it's cold.
These Southerners aren't used to the
Nobody likes
frigid
it.
cold.
Nobody likes it.
I see multiple blankets. I even see some of those earmuffs that people wear.
I don't think I could ever wear those.
I would if the time called for it, and the time called for another save there by Antonioli. That'll be his 5th of the night. Time ticking down. He's looking to chew off pieces of the clock here. Not literally, metaphorically, of course. Again, if you look up to our left, which you'll see eventually at the field house for the soccer team, you do see a big dent in that clock, a big piece of it chewed out. Funny enough, our field goal kickers hit one a bit too high over the net and took out a piece of the clock. And no one has thought to fix it yet. So maybe if they're listening to this broadcast, then
fix it.
Yeah.
Are you mad?
I'm not mad. I think it's
your team's fault.
I think it's a beautiful flaw. You know, people have their beautiful flaws. You know, this is what this is. The broken clock.
Let's focus on the game.
3 minutes remaining here at Sparrow Financial Field. Is Limestone yet again. Quick press. Easily headed out. Geraldo doing a wonderful job on the defensive, just standing at about 5'9" as well.
It's tall. That's tall, Colin.
Limestone near side. Trying to push into the box. Possibly get a last-minute penalty kick. And we do see, speaking of penalties, well, this won't be called a foul. On Anderson, the free kick. Just a few meters outside of the box. Limestone looks to take it from the near sideline. chance here for the Saints. On the way, this one towards the far post, perfectly brought in, and Antonioli.
I want
On
to
the move.
say perfectly. Definitely had his chance there off the bobble. He didn't clearly catch it. It was bounced on the line, but he's able to corral it. Some of the Limestone players seemed to be not celebrating, but they knew they were an inch away from a goal score.
I mean, literally, he was teeter-tottering on the line. Very close call by Antonioli, but still very good, very, very, very well done, and not allowing that score to go through. They say the last thing you want to do is go into halftime down by 2.
Really?
For some reason, it's a soccer saying. That's what I've heard.
No, I believe it. I believe it. It was just
Lucas Goldberg in a foot race pops this one into the box. Ivan Cardona putting on some heavy pressure on Naguba.
interesting tactic by Anderson. Now they're bringing the guys. You would think opposite, right? If you're closing in on a half, you would want to retain possession and not bring the heat.
Lucas Boss finding Corrado. He'll clear into the box. Slapped away by Limestone. And with a little more than 30 seconds remaining, Limestone back on the move. And they're quick with it. Picking up the pace. Finding Nakamoto. Nakamoto on the near side, inside the box. This one barely tapped away and narrowly avoiding a corner kick is Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson's breathing a sigh of relief right there. He was literally inches away from being a corner.
Thrown in, and with less than 15 seconds, not much maneuvering Limestone can do. We'll see a Hail Mary type kick. And Limestone with nothing left in the tank there in that first period of play. Anderson narrowly escaping multiple goals on their front. 1-0 the score here at Anderson University. Limestone Saints, the number 5 team in the country, lead the way here on Flow Sports Live. We'll be back. No better place to be than Anderson University here in Anderson, South Carolina. The Electric City, as they call it, as we look towards the second period of play here at Sparrow Financial Field between two possible SAC tournament contenders. One of them is definitely in the running for right now, and that is number 5 in the nation, Limestone University, as they have taken down multiple top 20 teams so far this season, and they look to take down this Anderson team here with a 1-zip score coming into the second half. But Anderson has put up a very good fight. Again, this has not been what we saw last. This is not the same Anderson team we saw last year against the Saints. Again, that score ended at 6-zip. Definitely not the ending the Trojans wanted, but they're here with a bit of revenge in mind. My name's Colin Calvert. With me, Matson Montilla. Matson, how's it going tonight, bud?
How's it going? That's a loaded question. It's going well for me. All right, I'm having a good time broadcasting this game. For the fans, it's probably a little cold. And for Anderson, it's going better than anticipated, I believe, right? They're going against number 5, Limestone. Limestone's obviously a very worthy opponent. They're top class. And I know Anderson's down 1-0, but like you mentioned before, they lost by 6 goals last time they faced off. And for a team that's lost 3 of their past 4 matches in Anderson, being down 1 goal at halftime at home, it's not a lot, right? You can capture momentum relatively easily. So all in all, I think it's going pretty well for Anderson despite the deficit.
On to a set piece early on here. Barely surpassed a minute and a half. Not even surpassed a minute and a half. And Juan Pablo Leprevanche on the far sideline to take the free kick. Anderson just 5 total shots so far in that first period of play. This one airing towards the near post line off the head of Alamati.
I believe Anderson thought it was a handball. It might have gone off one of the hands of one of the Limestone players, but nothing was called.
And there is indeed a call on the, I guess, push down or the contact made on a Limestone Saint on the far sideline. Limestone back in possession. And again, teams have switched sides. If you're unfamiliar with both teams, Anderson in the black and white and Limestone in the blue and white.
Yeah, for Limestone, their goal scorer came off the foot of Marcelo Lopez, who scored, I believe, 20 minutes into the match, I'd like to say, and propelled them to that 1-0 victory. What we've been seeing from both sides, the big takeaway from each one, as Anderson's on this big attack, is just the fluidity that Limestone's playing with. And I'll let you go.
Jaramillo with a chance. Nothing there. I believe it'll be a corner kick nonetheless.
But I was just saying, that's a prime example right there, actually, for Anderson, is this idea of we're parking the bus, we're playing defense, and if we have a couple guys that can get up the field, that's great. Right there, they had a break. They had a big break going. It was one-on-one with some Limestone players chasing, but Anderson brought no extra help. Nobody was coming with their team to help this offense out, and that's going to be a reason why you don't score. If you don't have enough players attacking, you're not going to have any goals going in. And that's what Anderson did all of the first half.
You have to have a supporting cast there for your lead role in order to make the movie great. You know what they say? I don't know if people actually say that, but I'm saying it now.
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
So you got to have your supporting cast there, whether it be your other forwards, your other midfielders, even some defenders like we saw against Wingate getting on the offensive action. Here's a shot going right towards the middle of the goal, and Antonioli quick to pick it up.
And I understand you want defenders to contribute, and the point is you want everyone to contribute. And sure, you're going to have some great defenders that have some great scoring ability, but your goals shouldn't be coming solely from midfielders and defenders. They should be coming from your forwards and your attackers. And quite frankly, for Anderson, it hasn't been working. Their leading goal scorer on the team is Diego Armillo, but Armillo has had a hat trick in September, and that was his last goal scored was that hat trick, September 18th. It's been nearly a month, over a month, right? Over a month that he hasn't scored a goal.
Definitely slow pace of play here for the Trojans offensively. Speaking of Armillo, he is down currently on the pitch. surrounded by a host of Saints and Trojans. Or that is Ivan Cardona. I always get the two numbers confused. I see the 0 on the end, and I'm like, oh, it could be Jaramillo, it could be Cardona, and then I always end up guessing the wrong one. My apologies. Ivan Cardona, back on his feet, walking on his own power.
A yellow
card awarded, and we see the shock of the Saints as Limestone perplexed at the fact that a card was awarded.
Yeah, I can't say I saw the full play unfold, so I don't know if it was deserving or not. I like to say the refs are always right. And also, the team that gets a penalty obviously believes the refs are wrong, and the one that's in favor for believe the refs are right. So long story short, the viewers at home, you interpretate it the way as you want. Nonetheless, a yellow going against Limestone. Fortunate for them, it came on the opposite side, right? So it's not like Anderson has a good scoring chance off of this, unless their goalkeeper scores 70 yards down the field.
And a beautiful ball, and turned right over into Limestone footing, but quickly trying to be repossessed. This one will go way of Anderson here on this near sideline. The kick in from Villa, intending for Alamari. Limestone on the move. Now again, one thing going back to that earlier call, I've noticed that soccer is probably one of the only sports where you can sit there and argue with the ref and not have almost no penalty come from it. If you were to do that in American football, sit there and argue with the ref, there would be a flag thrown, you'd be ejected. In basketball, you get attacked for breathing at this point. And in many other sports, you're going to be ejected, anything of that nature. These referees are definitely tough on that aspect of things, and I think really we should start adapting that mindset into other sports. I think it'd be a lot more fun.
I definitely agree with it, and I do think it just comes with the sport and the ref that you're dealing with. And the one thing I will say is who knows what's being said on the field in any of these games, but I like to think when you see those penalties called against football players, for example, I guess American football I should say, more times than not, they're saying some vile things to those refs. Soccer, I think there's a level of respect to it. You can even see it when they're playing the game. When the ball goes off with somebody, they like to say who it was. Their own player likes to say it. And so I think there's a level of respect to it. So not to say that bad things aren't said on the field, but I like to think it's a little bit nicer than what some other sports do.
And definitely could be interesting because who knows what language it could be said in as well.
That's
There are
true.
definitely
That's
a
true.
lot of nationalities
That's true.
and languages out there represented here on this pitch. Here's a shot. This one going way left of the net. But again, very powerful, quick shot. Antonioli was quick on the punch there and ended up with a sigh of relief and another, I guess, I'd say a no-goal scored. So easier said than done there from the Trojans as they're back on the offensive. This is where things have just been a struggle so far today. They've had chances, but like we mentioned beforehand, Madsen, there's just been no support from other Trojans down on the offensive. Can that change here?
Before this match, you mentioned that you spoke to Coach Zion about his game plan entering this match for Anderson offensively. And I know you said he was trying to present maybe different sets, but did he mention at any point in time this idea of playing more so of a defensive-minded game for the Trojans?
Yeah, he mentioned how he wanted to really diverse between a 5-4-1 as well as a 3-5-2. And so right now, that would be more emphasizing just one striker up top, a more heavier load on the defensive. If you were going with a 5-4-1, here's a chance from Limestone, and again, another put down by Antonioli. That going for his 7th save of the night. And I must say, Antonioli having himself quite the night. His career high is 7 saves. That happened against Mars Hill on the 21st of September. So right now, we're looking at a possible career high day in saves for the junior.
It's interesting about those two sets. Obviously, the first one you mentioned, 5 defenders back, emphasis on defense. The other one, you have 5 midfielders. So we've been seeing both those used this match, and both ways it's an emphasis on defense. You have 5 midfielders more times than not. You probably bring 2 on the attacking, and you'll still end up dropping 3 back since there's only 3 defenders. So in both ways, it seems like he's playing this game relatively cautiously. I'm curious to see. Obviously, there's a lot of time left in this game, 37 minutes. But I'm curious to see if Anderson is down 1-0, 2-0 as the game goes on. Like, who knows the different aspects of it. If they eventually realize we just got to score, because losing 1-0 is still a loss.
Narrowly escaping inside the box. Here's a chance in dangerous territory. This one quickly put to rest off the foot of a Trojan defender. And the Saints now to take the corner. The third corner of the night here for the Saints. Taken by none other than Hugo Ween. Ween airing this one out. The bicycle kick. Nothing to gain from it nonetheless.
Now for Limestone, I'm intrigued. I wonder what their coach is thinking in terms of they've had all this dominance all year. All year they've been dominating all their opponents. But 2 games ago, they had a tie, 1-1. Last game they won 1-0. Right now, it's only a one-goal game. And in his mind, you see this great offensive attack that you've had for the first 10 games of the season. It's been pretty cold. I wonder if that's a credit to they're just playing better defensive teams, or his offense is just stalling out. And I'm curious to see how he adjusts that right now and also as the year progresses.
If you look back at Limestone's schedule and you see a lot of the teams they play, we know good and well that a lot of these teams are very good offensively. Well, we know they beat Wingate. They beat them only 1-0 as well. And Wingate at the time was number 4 in the nation. They beat Florida Tech 2-0.
Rematch at the Elite Eight.
1-0. Say that one more time.
I was saying Florida Tech was the matchup at the Elite Eight.
Yes, exactly it was. And they also, they played 4 top 25 teams in a row and won every single one of them. And then, they started to trickle down into conference play. 15 total goals scored, Catawba and Newberry in those 2 matches solely by Limestone. Shut out both teams offensively. And then moved on to Carson Newman, won by 5 there. Beat Emory and Henry by just 1. And since then it's been a draw and now a 1-0 game. As you look to possibly change that here as Limestone to take the free kick. From the far sideline, this one popping in and popping away as it trickles out of bounds for a possible re-kick, it seems. Any possible thoughts as to why there was a re-kick, Mattson? Because I do not know.
I am not aware of it either. I'm assuming it could be maybe I don't know. I'm not even pretend like I know what's going. I don't know what happened. I really don't.
Oh, this one headed out. The Trojans in the safe zone yet again.
You set me up for that. All right, dog. I didn't know
it was kind of like a volleyball set, but I was hoping you'd spike that down. But
well,
instead it was more like a.
Yeah,
error.
I'm not sure. Our camera angle didn't show an emphasis on the ref.
You're so right.
But the binoculars aren't working. I don't know what's going on.
We're at such a disadvantage right now. I don't know if you remember this or not, but we used to be in the little white tent down right around before all these bleachers were built. And those were the good old days where you could see everyone's number from right here or from right there, and granted, it was very cold.
So why aren't we doing that now?
Well, because we have a beautiful press box.
Yeah, but we're so high up.
Stadium.
It's beautiful, but we're high in the sky, okay? And it's fun to be on the ground. See that action, feel the pace of it, because these players are flying around, playing hard.
Now I've caught a few games from a lower level, like a field level position, and it is not as fun as many people think. You think, oh, it's good, it's down there, the energy's going to be exciting, you can see people better. No, you really can't. I mean, you can't see all the way across the field. Everybody's all up in your face. Many people are talking all around you. The crowd's crazy loud, which is a good thing.
You don't have the bird's eye view either, and you can't see the formations take place.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that.
So you know what I mean?
I get it, but let's go in the field. All right, let's go in the field.
Let's actually go put on some jerseys and let's go play with these guys.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
People were telling me that they wanted me to mic up for the game, just any game so far football wise. Just mic up with my uniform on. Here's a shot. This one, absolute firework.
Season high saves now.
8 saves so far. Wonderfully done there by Antonioli. Career high.
Career high. Congratulations.
Wesley Yavon getting tripped up.
So what just happened there, Colin?
I saw a tripping by the likes of Limestone. We saw Ween fall, and then Yavon tried to get the ball away and ended up getting tripped up by Ween, so they call the foul. See, that's what you call a set and a spike.
Nobody wants to hear it from you, dude. All right? You're not going to get mic'd up because you're being mean to people.
Being mean. Oh, man, this is fun. Closing in on 30 minutes here on the AU Sports Network.
I want you to look at the scoreboard. Tell me the shot differential between Anderson and Limestone right now.
It's definitely been heavily offensive there for Limestone. They got 16 shots so far on the day, which, again, you said they averaged around 13 shots a game, or 16 shots a game, actually, 16. Which is right now they've hit the average, and it's only
30
15 minutes
yeah, we're an hour
into the second.
Yeah. And the reason why I pointed that out is, what is Anderson's tactics? Defense. Is it working? Yeah, they've given up one goal, but it's not, because they're not giving up goals due to the astounding performance by Antolini. Without him there'd be shots on shots on shots going in. 8 saves needed to prevent Limestone from scoring any other goals. So, again, I keep harping at this point, but at some point, and I think sooner than later, Anderson's coaching staff's got to realize a loss is a loss, right? Whether it's by 2 or 1 goals.
Maybe sending that one inside.
It's got to send the offensive attack. And it seemed like they were doing it on that, but it was a set piece. So I wonder if they maintain this aggressiveness.
Yavon finding Antonioli deep into the backfield. He'll boot this one away high into the sky. Could barely see that one. The blinding lights. I wasn't trying to quote The Weeknd there, I swear.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't even that.
Mark Villa trying to get the offense progressed downfield. Oh, and we see a big hit on Le Pervanche. They'll just say that one's out of play, and Anderson ball nonetheless. Le Pervanche like a steaming bullet train heading right towards that defender. Alamadi with a chance. A host of Saints looking to put down any sort of offensive effort. And that they do very quickly. If you're Alamadi, you're trying to get that out as quick as possible. Take the shot, get the pass off, do whatever you need to keep the ball in play. On the way, the Saints. Shot after shot going off. That's now 17 on the night.
17-38. Hey. Come on, you had a song. I thought I might as well start singing too.
I think it was beautifully sung. Sung? Sang?
Sung.
Sung?
Sung.
Yeah, beautifully sung. Beautifully sung. And the attempted crosser, not as beautiful, ends up underneath the foot of the goalie for Limestone. Again, a guy that's probably in line for first-team all-conference, possible All-American if they look to go all the way like they did last year. But who knows? Again, just a freshman. He's had some really good saves today. Not too much action in goal, just 2 saves so far off Anderson's just 6 shots. It's been a defensive load that the Trojans have really put on their shoulders.
Yeah, and they're footing the bill to it. They have 5 defenders back for a reason to prevent this explosive offense. But again, what are they preventing? What, instead of 17 shots, 20? Attack. You have to attack.
Yeah. I want to go back to a point you referenced earlier. At what point do you lay off the defense and go all in on the attack? That's kind of what everyone's sitting here waiting on. But again, if Limestone's able to get down so quickly and so easily as they have been, you kind of need to bolster this defense. You're kind of just playing to the last minute in hopes that maybe a lucky shot will fly by.
Like, you see this in pro soccer all the time, where there's obviously a team that feels like they're outclassed, right? Not that Anderson's bad, but they're playing the number 5 team in the country. Obviously, they're very good. So you play defensively, and then you just hope you have a break, right? Maybe you have one player for Anderson, maybe one of their top goal scorers can get free, whether that's going to be Diego Armillo or somebody else, right? Maybe somebody else can free up. Maybe that's Juan Pablo. They can get someone free and burning down the line to go score a goal. But at the end of the day, I think if it's still 1-0 at the 20-minute mark, that's when you say, switch it up, let's go offensive, or at least play normal soccer. Right? Not play middle of the pack, right?
Yes,
They're playing very
yes.
defensively right now. And so
I agree.
when I say normal, I just mean let me be balanced. I think that's a better way of putting it. Have it be balanced.
Yes, very good way of putting it. And right now it's been a very relatively balanced effort. I'd say more leaning towards that defensive side. And we see a chase down on this near sideline. Anderson, in hopes of putting to rest yet another offensive possession by Limestone, and a corner kick has been awarded off the foot of Villa, the Evansville University transfer.
Yeah, this is the fourth corner of the day for Limestone. Limestone 0 for 3 thus far.
Can that change here? Ween to take it yet again.
We're about to find out.
We will.
If it changes.
We will. I take that back. This is Stefan Robe to take the corner. Here's the shot. Looking near post line, easily headed away.
Not sure what he was trying to do there. I think that came off a little too weak than expected. Nobody for Limestone was near the near post.
Speaking of no teammates nearby, Jaramillo's pass easily intercepted.
Like you today, right? Getting that big-time interception in practice.
Oh, thanks, dude. Thanks. I appreciate the shout-out.
Yeah, CC is a linebacker for the Trojan football team. They have a big game this Saturday.
Yeah, big game against Emory and Henry, who's right now #1 in the Mountain Division of the South Atlantic Conference. They're sitting at 5-1. Anderson 3-3 right now, hoping to possibly put a few more dubs on the board. Anderson Soccer trying to do the same here against #5 Limestone. If you're just now tuning in here on Flow Sports Live, my name's Kyle Calvert. Matson Montilla right here, right beside me. And I must say, this has been so far a pretty evenly matched game. I mean, of course, we saw one goal slip by for Limestone, but other than that, the Trojans are putting up a very good fight. Again, this is a team that's coming off a win against the #17 team in the country. They still have all the momentum in their favor right now.
They do. And as we spoke about at the beginning, this is a big 3-game stretch for them, playing 3 straight ranked opponents. Having been a win get to start off, now they're playing Limestone, and they have a matchup on Saturday against Coker. And depending how they come out on the other side of it, it's going to be very telling of the progression they might be able to have the rest of the year. Right now they're sitting at 4-4-1 as an overall record. So a win, that slides them into a winning record. And just seeing that you have a winning record can provide another element. Obviously an upset is awesome, but showing that you're really good now, a 5-4-1 record, it can do numbers to you.
They've done really well in conference so far. They beat Emory and Henry 6-1, beat Mars Hill 2-1. And then
nice defensive effort by Anderson. I don't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's okay.
But they were flying in. It was a nice offensive set going for Limestone. And we had the flying kick come through for Anderson. And that was going to be courteous of Ivan Cardona.
And again, we mentioned how this game would be won by Limestone if they dominated the possession time. And so far they've done so, but haven't really put too much of a bad taste in Anderson's mouth for it just yet.
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, I say it now, right? There's 16 shots for Limestone. But when you have a lot of guys dropped back defensively, you could have the most talent on the field in the world. But it's hard to score when there's, I count 1, 2, 7 players, 8 players back defensively, like truly in the box for Anderson. It's hard to score in that when you usually only bring 4 to 5.
Anderson avoiding and Limestone retreating. But again, as we turn the page of this book, it seems as if the story stays the same and Limestone's still in Anderson's sector of the field, as it has been for a majority of today's game. Anderson holding strong.
Nicely defended by Anderson. That seemed to be a potential goal scoring opportunity. When you're that close to the net, if you just put it on I guess, on the goalie, there's a higher chance than not that it goes in. Obviously, the player for Anderson, I can't tell who it may be, is down. Obviously, took a big, probably going to get a bruise by tomorrow. Getting hit in the thigh with a fast-paced ball.
For the looks at it, that is Willie Thompson, the sophomore out of Spain. Actually, funny enough story, he's one of my suite mates as well here at Anderson, funny enough.
Really? Did you tell him that you're going to say anything cool about him?
Oh, yeah, I told him that I would say that he's my suite mate. Nice. He was like, anything else? I was like, well,
I will say, though.
I will say.
You have been saying his name a lot, and it's because he's been all over the field defensively for Anderson. He's been really, really strong for them this game.
Yeah, didn't play against Wingate, surprisingly. But again, I think that was kind of credit to his decision-making. He was having a few rough patches there in the season where he wasn't making the right decisions, maybe not the right passes, but he's shaping up really well, especially when they needed him the most for this game right here. Closing in on that 20-minute mark, we're approaching the bottom of the 20th minute here at Sparrow Financial Field in Melvin and Dolly Yount Stadium. You know, they put a lot of money into all that you see around us. I mean, the soccer and lacrosse field house, the football field house.
It's beautiful. I'll say that. It is beautiful.
Have you been inside the field house yet?
I haven't.
Oh, my gosh. I'll have to give you a tour.
You can take me into the field house?
It's beautiful. I mean, state-of-the-art weight room.
Oh,
with,
nice.
I mean, it's just full of everything you could need. Multiple meeting rooms upstairs, a giant team meeting room, plenty of coaches' offices, huge locker room for the Trojan football team, and a great training staff room brought to you by ANMED as well. They sponsor that, and it's a really, really just great overall facility for a football team to thrive in. And again, multiple sports also use that building, especially for weight room essentials, because they used to lift up in what they call the barn, which is a barn-like structure with no air conditioning, one giant fan, and some turf and a few racks here.
I like that. Though.
Old school.
I like that. Yeah, gritty.
Very gritty, and it worked for a lot of teams, and a lot of teams still use that. But multiple of the bigger teams for the Trojans use that weight room. As we look towards the field, we do see a downed Trojan looking to get up very quickly on his own power as well. I can't exactly see who it is from here.
You want binoculars?
Oh, yeah, the binoculars
don't work. They work really well.
The looks of it, that is Ivan Cardona, so he is all good up on his own power. Multiple times we've seen him down so far today.
Well, I think that's very telling. The players that are going down for this Anderson team, they're usually the ones that are playing midfield/defender.
And also playing 90-plus minutes a game as well.
A lot of time, a lot of fatigue, but when you're playing defense, you're throwing bodies on bodies, it's going to take a toll.
Especially against such a strong offensive team like Limestone is.
So right now we just surpassed the 20-minute mark. So this is when I would anticipate Anderson potentially scheming things up a bit differently, having some more forwards in midfield's attack than usual. Right now they have 5 defenders back.
Which is smart. I really don't see that game plan probably changing too much. Again, we would like for Anderson to see more of an offensive.
Well, yeah, let me ask that from you. I mean, you're down 1-0 if you're Anderson. Or I want you to think like you're Coach Zion right now. You're down 1-0. There's 18 minutes left. You lose by a goal, it's a loss. Do you think that it should be time for them to say, let's bail out this 5 defensive formation and change up the set?
I really would wait until the final few minutes to possibly make an adjustment. And I think right now you have to stand strong defensively. Again, Limestone is working their way down the field so easily and so quickly, surpassing this midfield. If you're Anderson, keep drawing the fouls. Again, keep playing headstrong defense and wait until that opportune time. Again, they're playing with just one striker downfield so far, which again it's relatively a decent strategy if you're playing very defensive-minded and defensive-heavy. But offensively, when they need something right, like they do right now with Lepervanche squeezing up inside the box, no call was made as he was downed on the pitch.
And he was not happy about that. As he was getting up, he was yelling.
No Trojan on that sideline was, especially head coach Michael Zion. Here's a chance. Nothing going. Ball popped into the air with a little bit of open space. The shot from Lepervanche again going high, and that's what we've noticed on a lot of his misses have been the fact that he has missed very high and very wide. Lepervanche down in the box. He was hoping for a call. There is a Limestone player down. Time has stopped. So wait for multiple players from both sides to find their way to their feet. Lepervanche seems as if he's possibly caught a cramp, something that all athletes know is one of the worst feelings ever.
Curious to see what's going on with the Limestone player, and you can see the captain for Limestone is yelling back and forth with the ref in displeasure with what's happening as the trainer attends to the down Limestone player.
By the looks of it, that is Marcelo Lopez, the freshman out of Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah, and Stefan Robe, the captain, was not happy with the ref. He was yelling at him for, I'd say, about 30 to 45 seconds about what happened after the play ended. Walking off in his own power, though, thankfully for Limestone.
So time will resume, and the second period will continue to be played as we are approaching the 15-minute mark here at Breast Cancer Awareness Night.
Another down Anderson player. Everyone's falling now.
It seems as if the fatigue and
Yeah.
maybe the cold has caught up with everyone, and the cramps are starting to make their way to the surface.
Now, the fatigue is definitely the issue. Soccer is the sport where you run the most, right? Unless you're on a marathon, you run the most in soccer. And I think that's really starting to kick in for most of these players. And like you said, the cramping, right? And you're running so heavily, I bet their hamstrings are torched from all this movement.
And that is Lepervanche, who we did see earlier on in the box fighting that cramp, and he eventually made his way to downfield to the Trojan head, and having to be walked off by a trainer. We'll hopefully see him back on the pitch eventually, because he's had the most looks today from a goal perspective, but also just hoping and praying there are no injuries.
So I have to ask you a question, really off topic, but you said that your suite mates
Willie Thompson.
with Willie Thompson, yeah. I knew there was his name. I just want to confirm it. So you were telling me earlier that your diet changes every day with what you eat. Do you guys eat the same meal, or does he cook on his own?
No, the soccer team, they sit together there in the cafeteria that we have. Great food brought to you by AVI. And, I think for a lot of us athletes, we don't really have too much of a nutrition plan to follow. For football guys, it's eat as much as you can possible. Like, I drank a whole carton of milk today, and as weird as that is.
Milk's good, though. 1% whole or 2%?
2% actually.
2.
It was 2% whole milk. It was
I'm
very
a big
good.
2%er, yeah.
It was very good. By the way, Anderson brought in Caleb McDowell, who had his first goal against North Georgia.
So did you have it in one sitting, or as the day went on?
It was 2 sittings. I drank a little bit before chapel, which Anderson students are required to go to, and I highly recommend chapel as well. And then I drank the rest after chapel.
Okay.
I was like, I'm pretty, hungry / thirsty at the moment, and it was very filling. And I also had some peanut butter with it.
And I'm assuming you finished that a couple hours before practice.
Yeah, of course.
I hope.
Of course, I'm not a
Or
psychopath.
else I'd end up on the field.
Though, granted, that's actually all that I've eaten today, so I should probably go to Zaxby's or something after this.
Zaxby's is good.
Zaxby's is so good. Franco Antonioli with a quick stop. Limestone trying to push the pace, especially with time winding down. Anderson trying to do the same. Yeah, Zaxby's sounds really good. 2 large fries and some Zax sauce and ranch is my go-to.
That's it? Just the fries?
Just the fries. I'm a big carb guy.
Really?
Maybe I should be hitting the more protein.
No protein.
I only weigh about 200 pounds. So
I know, but protein's
protein's
tastes good.
Yeah,
Meat's good to eat.
You say wheat or meat? Okay, gotcha. I thought you said wheat. I was like, why you're making fun of my allergy?
No, I'm not. I did not say wheat. Meat.
Oh, gotcha.
Chicken.
Pork.
Steak.
Salmon. Fish.
Salmon's good.
Salmon's
I love
really good.
some salmon.
I love tuna as well.
Oh, but my tuna, I like the tuna that you mix like the mayonnaise, the Star Kiss tuna.
Oh yeah, so look,
That's
they,
what I
they
like.
had,
That's what I like.
So funny enough, whenever I was in Japan, they had these tuna and mayonnaise rice balls. So they put rice as the outside, tuna mayonnaise in the inside. You would buy those for like 20 American cents because there everything's so cheap.
Yeah.
You would go there. I'd spend like $6 and I'd get five rice balls, protein shake, liter of water, and some sushi, and it cost me less than $6.
Come on.
And so tuna mayonnaise was the most goated thing.
Yeah.
If our viewers know what goated means, greatest of all time thing. And I mean, it was to die for. And I'm excited to go back to Japan in September.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just for the rice balls. Just for the rice balls.
Yeah, nothing else. I don't care about the culture or the views. I just want the.
Oh no, the culture's amazing.
Just want the rice balls. Apparently, that's what I'm hearing.
Hey, the rice balls are part of the culture, dude. Rice balls are part of the culture.
True.
And we saw Lucas Boss get a bit manhandled there in the box. Anderson looking to have a free kick, I believe, or a possible corner.
Well, in either way, that's what Coach Michael Zion likes. He likes those set plays, right? Free kicks, corners, because the freshmen, they know how to do. They don't have to act up, be worried about what's next. They have a game plan, and this could be a time for Anderson to convert. As a goal, or is the ref now trotting onto the field towards that middle of the scrum? Anderson stacking the box. I really like it. Ton of bodies.
Whistle blown. Here's the kick. This one going towards the near post line. And again, as we've seen multiple times today, ball just headed away.
Yeah, nicely defended by Limestone right there. A little under 15 minutes remain in this match.
This one sent towards the interior of the box. Booted away. And there's Willie Thompson recollecting himself, trying to get this one back downfield as quick as possible, met with a bit of pressure from the midfield. Ball finds the foot of Thompson yet again. He looks for safety in Antonioli, who gets a bit underneath the kick. It goes too short, too shy, and it remains in Anderson territory. Limestone pushing the pace. This one bouncing off the gloves of Antonioli out to the outside net. And Trojans stay safe for now, but this will be a corner kick.
Antonioli's fired up, waving his arm in the air. I think it's really just a signal to his teammates, like, I'm here to stay. Now it's your turn to go do your job. Not in a bad way, just firing them up. Like, I'm locked down in goal.
Yeah, saves like that earned him third-team All-SAC accolades and first-team All-Preseason accolades as well. The guy's good. The guy is good, and we saw him with 5 saves against Wingate. I mean, crucial saves as well. The guy's very talented.
Yeah, he's playing great now. 9 saves thus far, 1 away from double digits. That's unheard of.
This one headed away. Limestone back on the attack. Just unable to maneuver through the multitude of Trojan bodies. Armillo down the sideline. It's a race. Has Lucas Boss to his right side. And the throw in. This time coming away of Paul Elias. This one swung around. Armillo able to get a piece of it. Cardona. Armillo once more knocked to the ground. No call was made. Goodness gracious. What a choice there by the referees.
It feels like this game, they've let them play relatively physical. I know there's been a few free kicks, but more times than not, when somebody hits the ground, it's been let the guys play. And honestly, if I'm out there, that's the way I like it, right? Obviously, you don't want to play overly aggressive. You don't want anyone to get hurt. But there's 10 minutes left in the match, a little bit over. It's 1-0. You want to let the game be decided by the players on the field, not the refs.
If Anderson could bring this to a draw, that would be quite the statement. there in the SAC as well.
That would be huge. I mean, it's the number 5 team. It would also be very telling of Limestone, the trajectory they might be going, right? A draw, a barely get by win, and another one.
That one aired out. One of the closer shots that we've seen for the Trojans today. That'd be the 8th shot of the night compared to Limestone's 17 so far.
And you see it there, the save total for Limestone's 2. So it's showing that most of these aren't on net.
Yeah. Trying to chunk away some time. Slow play here by Limestone, but they look to get it back down the field as quick as possible. They know that this 1-goal lead isn't enough, especially with a gritty team like Anderson is. I mean, they're playing all out. Goldberg with quick feet. Up against Nagubo, able to steal it away. Limestone right back to it nonetheless. Just want to cross her, easily intercepted. And a foul called. Wow, what a call. And I know the Trojans are not too happy about that one.
Well, I'll tell you who's not. All these refs in the stands, also known as Anderson fans, they are not happy with that call.
Not one bit. Santiago Arce with a beautiful interception and was making his way down the pitch as quickly as possible. Had multiple Limestone Saints, and someone just took one for the team.
Yeah, it seemed like Anderson was really dealing and flying down there. I mean, granted, it was a 1v3, right? So not the best near numbers advantage. But when you have speed, you have movement and talent like Anderson did, things can get going for you.
Less than 10 minutes here. So far, so good. Limestone back on the attack. And again, I think right now they'll just choose to chew away at the clock like they did near the end of the first period as well. They know they have the lead, and they don't want Anderson with the ball at all. And again, their midfield doing a phenomenal job of just stealing away any opportunities and getting them right back to the offense.
Nicely defended by Anderson. Coming off the foot of Diego Armillo.
And from what I've heard, and this could be incorrect, but I don't believe it is, Anderson Volleyball just won their matchup.
What is that, 6 straight?
That's 6 straight now, I believe.
They are awesome. They're awesome.
Led by big-time hitter Ava Reeves.
The Neaporte twins. And you know who was doing awesome last match?
Emily Campbell.
Emily Campbell.
Hitting .776 with no errors is something almost unheard of.
Not for her, though.
Not for her, now at least. It's a very impressive job by a very young Anderson team. Yeah, they swept Newberry. She was hitting .722. So just a quick update there on a few Anderson sports round the way. They're right now 10-7 overall. So they ended up beating Newberry. They just played Emmanuel. We're going to go ahead and check out the live stats there just so I can be sure that that was the case.
And before this soccer game took place, the women's team beat Limestone 2-1. Had a late game goal to take the lead and ultimately win it. For Anderson.
So update, Anderson did beat Emmanuel in 5 sets.
Wow.
Ava Reeves finished him off with the final kill there. It went to extra points as well there in the 5th set. And we have Diego Jaramillo down. The fans are livid, hoping for a call. Doesn't look like there will be one. So Jaramillo quick off the pitch and back to the game plan.
Yeah, they want that one called off of Luis Anchita. But the thing is, like I said, it's late in the game. They're going to let things go unless they're egregious, and that didn't seem to meet the criteria.
Definitely
but
did not.
This one looks to be a free kick, and it does meet the criteria for an egregious penalty. So fans compare and see what is an example and what isn't.
If only we had some instant replay.
That's true. That's true. Production's not doing their job.
We're kidding. We're very thankful for our production crew here on camera, producing. They do a wonderful job at making things like this happen.
No, they do. In every event, they're everywhere. And Most of them are students at Anderson, and I
Yes.
think that
It's a
shows.
fully student-led production crew, which is something almost unheard of at a lot of larger schools and a lot of even D2 schools. Students don't often lead it. Have a lot of athletes incorporated into it as well. So it's a very diverse platform that the Anderson Athletic Department has really taken from the broadcast department. I mean, things have changed so much since I've gotten here as a freshman. And we see a flying ball to the face of Limestone Saint as time is ticking down slowly but surely. 1-0 remains the score.
A player I want to highlight for Anderson right now is Lucas Goldberg, the midfielder from Charleston, South Carolina. He entered the game, and since being on the field, he's been playing rapid, right? Offensively, defensively, he's like a gnat. He's everywhere. Where the ball is, he's tracking it down. He's around it. You can't get him to go away, and that's what you want. But I'd keep an eye on him in the midfield position to have an impact if they were to get an attack going. And Anderson looks to be finally trying to bring some players up. A little over 5 minutes remaining. Just force the issue at this point. Try and get some goals scored.
Yeah, the offense has been the issue tonight. I mean, again, you see the shot differential between both teams, and it's very apparent that Anderson's been working defensively very hard, and offensively they just haven't been up to speed. Thompson looking towards midfield, easily taken away. Again, I talked about the decision-making of Thompson. He did have a few forwards downfield wide open. Next time, just have to take a look downfield. Stolen away. This time, the Trojans with a fighting chance in 5 minutes remaining here in regulation.
Relatively quiet game, obviously, when it comes to scoring. The only goal coming 20 minutes into the match. Since then, it's been over an hour of no goals. Not to say there hasn't been opportunities for either side, as there's been plenty, but no goals to represent both sides, except for that one for Limestone.
And there a foul finally called in favor of the Trojans. I think many Anderson fans have been waiting quite some time for that. You heard the visible or the audible foul from many there in the stands. And the referees seem to agree.
Yeah, free kick. Anderson is bringing everybody up. Everyone's there except for two players, the one kicking it, and then our guy,
Lucas
Goldberg, who's been everywhere. I guess not this play. I wonder if they're going to try and kick it off to him.
Well, again, Lucas isn't the tallest of fellows. This time the attempted kick going nowhere, and now the Trojan defense has to recollect themselves. Lucas Goldberg back there as a possible defensive last resort, streamlining his way in, holding on tight for dear life, and we see the foul called on Goldberg for, I guess, what you would call a hold.
Yeah, and that was against Merle Radikai, who, again, entered the match with 14.6 goals, the leading goal scorer on this team. For Limestone, though, I don't necessarily anticipate them going all out for a goal. They're going to try, but mainly there's 3 minutes remaining. Try and just run out the clock in that situation. They have the players with the capabilities to keep playing keep away at a high level. Nope.
Towards the interior, given away quickly. Anderson on the move. Finally, foul called in the way of the Trojans. And speaking of in the way, we see multiple people getting in the way of Santiago Arce in his possible attempt downfield. And Limestone quick to it. Here's the shot. Knocked up and through the field goal post.
Yeah, going back to that free kick that was granted to Anderson, I didn't like what Santiago Arce did. I know he was trying to do. There's less than 3 minutes. Let's try and get something going. Let's try and catch Limestone off, not looking. But there was two defenders around him, and no one was paying attention for Anderson. Everyone that was in front of him, their back was turned. And he kicks it, deflects it, and goes right back to Limestone. Had an incredible shot to score, and now they have the corner kick.
Limestone to take it. 2 minutes remain here at Sparrow Financial Field. Time stopping. Yellow card presented.
Delay a game? What was that?
It looks to be the case. So they will bring in Ween to take the corner.
I'll tell you one thing. Limestone does not care for that delay game, nor does Marcelo Lopez. That yellow card doesn't really affect him unless he does something horrible the next 2 minutes. Right now, the only thing they're trying to beat out is the clock. Try and wait. I mean, they wasted 10 seconds. I think it's worth it in that situation.
Yeah, 10 seconds could make or break this game. Trying to play it short. This one will pop out of play, going way of Limestone.
And again, that clock's still ticking, so they're going to take their precious time trying to throw it in. And they're going to try and just stay in the corner, right? If Anderson kicks it, it's probably going to be a corner kick in favor of Limestone like I believe just happened. Yeah, so if you just keep the ball in that corner, more times than not, the boundaries are your friends, because if Anderson kicks it, goes out of bounds, Limestone just retains possession.
And again, they're playing some box-out offense near that corner. This one will be a throw-in for Anderson nonetheless. I know Anderson fans are very thankful for that, as 1 minute remains here on the clock. Time has really flown by. But you know what they say, flies by when you're having fun.
Yeah. You having fun?
Oh, great time. Always with you, Matson. Always with you.
Thanks, dude. Hopefully we can drink a gallon of milk together one day.
On broadcast.
That'd be fun.
I'd do it. Fun.
I bet I could drink it faster than you.
But we have to have like a camera facing us while we drink
Okay, let's do it. We'll work on that.
We will. We'll make it happen.
I know production.
What you need to do is go be a sideline reporter for the football game this weekend.
I know.
But of course, you're a big Clemson guy, so.
Did Mike tell you about that? We don't have time to talk about it. There's 25 seconds.
25 seconds remain here. Franco Antonioli trying to get his team down as fast as possible. Sending this one with a lot of spin on it right towards midfield. 15 seconds remain here. The boot on the way. This one will go straight towards midfield. No call is made, and 5 seconds remain. That, ladies and gentlemen, might be your game. Could we see another score in the final seconds? That one fly by. I don't think it'll count. I definitely don't think it'll count.
The refs are talking. It's going to be big for goal differential.
They will say no goal, and the Trojans lose by just 1 to the number 5 team in the nation. Limestone ended up winning this one. Phenomenal job, very gritty job by the Trojans, and total different story than it was last season. Head coach Michael Zion did a really great job coaching up these guys, and hey, on to the next. Again, they'll be taking on Coker on the 19th. That one will be at home at 7:30. Thank you for joining us here on Flow Sports Live, part of the Anderson Sports Network. Matson, any last thoughts?
I was just going to say, if you're Anderson, obviously not the result you want, right? You want to win. You want to tie. You want to point. They didn't get it. They lost 1-0. I was laughing at that last-second goal because either way it would be a loss for Anderson. But the one thing I take away is you said it. 1 year difference, 5 goals less scored against them, only losing by 1 goal. And this is a big 3-game stretch. They beat Wingate, who was ranked. They lost Limestone, probably the best team in the country, another number 5, but probably the best team in the country with the best goalkeeper. Lost by 1 goal. And then they host Coker, who's number 10 in the country, top 10 in the country. So if they can win that game, you have that matchup, like Memorial, Carson Newman, Newberry. Those are all games you can beat. So that's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, I agree. Again, great job by the Trojans. Offense, defense especially today. I mean, thwarting off 18 shots. And Franco Antonioli having one heck of a night. 10 saves, a new career high for him.
Phenomenal.
That's been it from us up here in the booth. My name's Colin Calvert. Matsu Montilla right beside me. And again, this guy's a great commentator. Commentated the whole women's game by himself, too. I mean, that's a feat in and of itself. We're live here from Anderson University, and we'll see you later.